when you think of arc, it's spelled ARCH, so it's really arch. When you think about the curvature of an arch and that's there to support like a bridge, we are the bridge between, we say, the 3D and the 5D, the consciousness and like being human, and like masculine and feminine energy, and the ego and the soul. It's like, so we really, it's like the most incredible, now knowing that name was always meant to be. But it made me realize is I need to sit with things because I can be very reactive, like the woman with the nails coming out, that was me. So I've had to learn to just like sit. Meditation's really helped with that, and just kind of like feel into, like when you said like, is this person someone I want to work with? Because I see all the reasons why we probably should on paper. My former partner, I'm very grateful for him, even though we don't work together anymore. He was my mentor. He would say, if something still sits with me after a few days, it means a yes.
Mm-hmm. Hey everybody, welcome to Women Unlocking Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Thompson. I'm here today with Shab Azma. She is the founder of ARC Collective, a talent management agency based in LA. We're so grateful that you're able to make it out here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Aw.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. And I would love to go into your story. I know that you actually started with humble beginnings of you actually wanting to be an actress and pursuing that in LA. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm a Jersey girl. I was born in New York, raised in Jersey, and I had always dreams of being in entertainment. And I moved to California when my parents moved out here. I wasn't happy about it because I loved being in Jersey, but moved out here, and it's the best place to try to be an actress. And so I went to university. I was going to get a degree. I got a degree in communications, but when I graduated, I was working in banking part-time, and I tried the acting thing because I did some acting classes during college and was encouraged to pursue it. And I did, but I also just didn't have a lot of patience. So very quickly, I decided that I wanted to make something out of my education and my degree in communications. And so I jumped into the other part of the entertainment industry, which was the business side of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when I was in high school, I did gifted and talented acting just for fun. And I was like, I'm just going to go and play sports instead because it's like a whole different field and it's like a whole different mindset, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But what really shifted you into doing more of the talent management?
I really fell into it. And it's funny because I'm having such an understanding now of my full circle in this life right now, because I was always a performer. Like growing up, I was dancing, I was singing, I was always performing, whether it was behind the scenes in my own bedroom or in the shower or whatever. But I look back now and I was like, no, girl, you were always meant to perform. And so interestingly enough, now being here on podcasts and speaking, it's like that is the performative part of myself, which has been weird because I've had a lot of imposter syndrome. Having been behind the scenes all these years as a manager, I'm here to support other people's creative vision and dreams, and especially those that are on camera and on TV. So for me, even like being asked to do things like this, at first I was like, me? Yeah. And it's like, yeah, me. Yeah. I was born to do this.
Exactly.
It's just the performance looks a little different. It's maybe not singing because I also sang and was a musician in my 20s and early 30s as like my alter ego at night. But I gave all that up when I got married and had kids, and I also had to run a business. So this has kind of been interesting, but I fell into the management side of things. I never ever planned to do that. I didn't even know what that was, but it just kind of organically happened. And my intuition just, I guess, was magnetizing these opportunities, and my passion for entertainment. I just kind of went with the opportunities that fell my way. When I talk a lot about that too, is that I have learned that sometimes we need to take a closer look at what we are being led to do, because there's like things that fall in your lap, and then it's also leading with intention. And I hadn't led with intention. I just kind of kept going where the wind was taking me. Mm-hmm. And it turned into a career, and I'm grateful for it. But I'm also really grateful to be having these kinds of conversations and sharing what I have to impart into the world, and for those that want to listen to my experience.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. Like for me, like when I got into entrepreneurship, I wasn't spiritual. I grew up Catholic, but I wasn't spiritual, like super spiritual. And so going down the path of entrepreneurship really led me to spirituality, which was like a big thing for me. And like also like I love the name of your company, ARC Collective. And it's women owned. And so what is your focus with like just having women employees?
No, I mean, we're a women found and led company. We're a gaggle of incredibly intelligent women. And you talk about spirituality, and it's something that I've been talking about more. I'm really here to sort of bridge spirituality and consciousness with being a CEO. My team calls me the CPO, a Chief Purpose Officer, or Chief Spirit Officer, and I'm here for it. And I want to revolutionize the C-suites now with these new sort of acronyms. But for me, it's actually spirituality is what actually led me to start my company. I had been running another management company with a partner of mine for 10 years. And I had felt sort of spiritually bankrupt towards the tail end. And I felt like I was just really being very transactional. And I wasn't really like I was doing it because it's what I had been doing. But after a series of experiences and events that took place with my former partner and even one of my clients who left because of a mistake he had made, I felt like I needed to get a sense of clarity around my purpose in this life. And so I talk a lot about how I did do a plant medicine journey, and it was psilocybin about 5 years ago with a urban shaman friend of mine named Shane Coyle. And I came out of that experience knowing I needed to leave my partner, I needed to start a company, and it needed to be all women, at least to start with. I love the men. I love men. I do. It's not about man hating at all. But I think that it's time for women to, what I was shown in that journey was we women need to band together. When we band together, we'll make miracles happen.
I love that. That gives me goosebumps. And I mean, like, it's like even the whole idea of like the collective, like we can go so much further together in like a network. Yeah. So when we're just focused on growth ourselves, it's like a circle.
That's right.
You're stuck in the same beliefs, same mindset. But when we are collectively together as women, and it's like more like a spiral.
That's right.
So it goes beyond what we can even imagine possible. And like for me, like my goal is to create something that is beyond, that lasts longer than me, that outlives me. That's basically. Right. And I'd be curious to know, like, what do you feel like your purpose is?
Well, I feel like for me, I've had to really like uncave the last 5 years. I've been really like digging and uncaving. I've had more experiences since that 5 years ago. I've done not just plant medicine. I've done one more time, but I've done a lot of meditation. And really plant medicine is a shortcut to what you can get through meditation, but I was never going to meditate. I mean, I could not sit still long enough to meditate. Right? And I didn't even start doing that until really 2 years ago when I learned transcendental meditation about 2.5 years ago. But I really didn't start committing to meditation until probably even last year. And it has been a complete game changer. And what I've been able to uncover from meditation is my deeper, greater purpose, which is really to positively impact 8 billion people in this world fast. Mm-hmm. And that is content. Yeah. I always say like we have human shells that keep us only in one place at one time. And so in order for us to have impact, we need a platform that's much bigger than one-on-one conversations. But when you can telecast that, right, through to 8 billion people, and that's in all formats, that's from podcasts to live events to content, to long form television to courses. So at my company at ARC, we do all of those things. You know, in our talent, we have about 80 lifestyle experts across all areas of business. They're at the nucleus of this flywheel and all the various ways for people to get the information, because we have 8 billion people to get to. So our world right now is in an interesting place, and there's some heaviness there, and it's about us sort of coming together, especially as women, to heal the planet and lift up, and I say raise the frequency of this planet together. And it's a lot of people to do that. We need to do that with, again, a collective consciousness is what we're trying to raise. And so for me, my purpose really is to bridge consciousness with content, conscious consumerism, and to bring a collective of people that have voices that want to inspire others and help integrate passion, purpose, and profession. So as a company, we do work with people from all walks of life who have a platform or have a voice that needs to be heard, but are not quite sure how to do that. So we strategize with them. We create their North Star strategy. We create a whole plan for them and a roadmap. And then when they get that going, then we can take them to the management side of business, and then help manage that and get them on the platforms they need to get to.
That's amazing. When you're looking at the talent, are they coming to you, or are you being referred the talent, or what does that look like exactly?
We've been really grateful. We've been really blessed that we've been able to have people come to us through word of mouth, through production companies, casting agencies, but a lot of it's through word of mouth, or discovering us through other talent who post about us, or when they look to see what so-and-so, who's repped by this, who reps this person, then they'll come to us. And so we're a pretty discerning bunch, because we're boutique by design. So we can't say no to everybody, especially, we can't say yes to everybody.
Exactly.
Because we also have lives and we want to have that work-life balance. A lot of us are moms. So for us, it's that we have to, because the management side is commission-based, we have to ensure that we can actually go out there and generate business.
Exactly. And that's the balance I was thinking with you. Because I'm sure you get a lot of pitches or talent coming to you. And same for us, like we get pitched like every day, like 10 times a day just to be on our podcast. And one of the things that I've noticed is like when people come to us and approach us in a form like they have an ego, it deters me away. Like I just shut the door completely. Like I'm passionate about working with more humble, inspiring people. And so what do you see with that? Like what if you had somebody that you knew was a complete a-hole? And you literally were like, but he has so much following, like he'd be a great to like pitch. Do you still take them on as a client, or are you really?
That is, I love that you asked that question. Thank you for asking that, because that's so important. Because I have done that. I have definitely, because I have a company to run, right? And there's optics.
Makes sense.
Especially right now we're scaling and we are talking to investors. And so you have to have optics as part of that conversation. That being said, we have an absolute zero ego, not a zero ego, but it's like, if we do not feel alignment, then we can't do our job. And what we really have to do is we have to be able to lock in with the talent. And if there's not that like mutual alignment and understanding and desire to do good things in the world, then it's just not going to work. And being commission based, we have to be very discerning with our time and our energy and our effort. And I've had to learn that. Because I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Me too.
And I want to help everybody. And even those especially that have really big egos, because now in this time of my life, I can see through that.
Right.
I can totally see through that. I can see when I came up last week with a client, not my client, but someone we were doing business with for that client whose ego really came up through a Zoom call and her claws came out. And the old me would have had my claws come out because I'm a Scorpio and I'm like, but I've trimmed my nails. I trimmed my nails and I'm like, okay, I see what's happening. And I was able to see through it and I was able to stay regulated. And then she started to calm down.
Yeah.
Because I would have been the same way if I was her 10 years ago. And so I can see through it, but that does not mean that I have to help that person.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we're not in business in that way. She's the one we're working with for a client of ours. Our client's incredible. But I think that there's like my personal evolution, and I'm here to coach people whenever they want. And I have a lot of people that I mentor, especially young people. Of course. That's like a side thing. That's not part of our collective, though I'm trying to bridge that and bring that into the company. And we do have, again, a strategy department that does charge for North Star strategy. Yeah. And then once they get that and they're ready to follow, then they could potentially go into the management bucket, but they have to do the work first.
Yeah.
But for right now, we have this policy right now. If it's not a hell yes, it's a fuck no.
Exactly. I love that. That's how I feel every time. And I know in my gut when I'm meeting business partners, I'm like, or potential business partners, I'm just like, it doesn't feel right. It's not sitting right with me. And me and Tamara have learned to say no.
That's right. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard because, again, I want to help everybody. I really do. That's my team. They know that I'm like the bleeding heart. And I've toughened up the shell, but I'll say, take the meeting first. You guys let me know if it's someone I should work with, if I should take a meeting with.
You were on the call with us for the first time.
Well, of course I was. Well, that was magic what happened at the end of that Zoom.
You know what's wild is yesterday we got a lead in, Archangel Michael, and then he had like a help website. So he used the code name Archangel Michael, and then I meet you today with Arc Collection.
Well, can I tell you, I call my girls my archangels, my team.
Oh my gosh, I got goosebumps.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I do, the archangels.
That's
and the whole reason why I came up with ARC, I don't know if I told you if you've heard this, but so when I did my journey 5 years ago, matriarch kept coming through. My grandmother on my dad's side kept coming through, and I kept feeling the word matriarch, and it was fucking women. So I came out of it, and I was talking to my sister-in-law who worked for a different company in marketing at the time, and I was like telling her, and she's like, no, matriarch is too on the nose. I was like, you're right, because I do have male clients.
Yeah.
And you don't want to seem earnest. I was like, you're right. And then I was like, Joan of Arc came through in my journey too. I kept having Joan of Arc vibes. I had some past life stuff come through in my journey. And it's like, and then I was looking at Greek goddesses. I'm like, who represents female power, right? And then my sister-in-law goes, how about just Arc?
That's perfect.
And I was like, I don't know. And I sat with it. And this is the other thing I've had to learn is I need to sit with things because I also can be very reactive. And at first I was like, no. And then I was like, yeah. Like after a few days, and I'm so grateful. And then collective, I don't even know where that came from, but it's the collective consciousness.
I love it.
So it's all wild. And then it's interesting too, because my boys are Aiden and Kayvon. So the A and the C, like all these things now. And then matriarch is, when you think of arc, it's spelled ARCH. So it's really arch. And you think of what an arch is, it's when you think about the curvature of an arch and that's there to support and be like a bridge, we are the bridge between, we say the 3D and the 5D, the consciousness and like being human and like masculine and feminine energy and the ego and the soul. It's like, so we really, it's like the most incredible now knowing that name was always meant to be. But what it made me realize is I need to sit with things because I can be very reactive, like the woman with the nails coming out, that was me. So I've had to learn to just like sit. Meditation's really helped with that and just kind of like feel into like when you said like, is this person someone I want to work with? Because I see all the reasons why we probably should on paper. But I've also, my former partner, I'm very grateful for him, even though we don't work together anymore. He was my mentor. He would say, if something still sits with me after a few days, it means a yes. You know?
Yeah. I used to be reactive as well. And then I was in operations management and my boss, he was like, pick your battles.
Yeah.
And like, even if we get an email that kind of throws us off a little bit, we'll sit with it for like a few hours or, 12 hours max, but I will respond accordingly and professionally. And also there's Chat GPT out. Like if you feel like you're in an edgy mood, like you can have Chat GPT change your tone of your email to be more professional, but humanize it in a way that I love that sounds really great. That's one of the strategies that I do at times because I mean, we do get, those sensitive emails in and it just feels uncomfortable. It doesn't sit right with us. And just learning how to be more proactive and kind, I guess, is what I try to do in that context. But Joan of Arc was a powerful woman. Like she was, I think, a French, like peasant or something. But then she was like hardcore going after all these like different things. Like she like led a war or something. It was like insane. Like that's powerful energy that you're. Like,
I was able to. She totally came through. That's why I was like, it felt like I was this female icon, but then Arc, it was just perfect. Wow. Mark came up with that and she's now works for my company, my sister-in-law, and she's crushing it. Oh my God. So it was all meant to be.
Yeah. Have you had any other spiritual experiences that have happened for you? So many. I have so many. Like we could probably have coffee for like 5 hours. Like,
well, I'll tell you what started mine 7 years ago, and it's really weird coming here on this plane. I was just talking about this outside. So my uncle was killed in a plane crash 7 years ago. Gosh. He was he flew privately. He had his own flight company like this one in Florida, and his name was Shab Azma. And that was the catalyst for my spiritual awakening. I got the invisible tap on the shoulder when he passed to read the book Journey of the Souls, which I'd heard about years prior. And I read that book and I was like, wow, like this all feels right to me because I never was raised with religion. My parents were Muslim, but they're from Iran, but they didn't put that on me. So I always kind of felt lost with regards to what I believed in other than just knowing that I believed in God and would pray. Yeah. When he passed and it was like the wing fell off the plane. Like it was one of those things where like I had just seen him 2 months prior and he was telling me about how pilot error, plane crashes are 95% of the time pilot error. And he was one of the best pilots in the country and an FAA examiner. And then the wing falls off. And I had just seen him and I would never go to Florida to visit. So just even how I saw him just months before he died was wild. And I know that his death was a catalyst for me for greater knowing and understanding of what happens when we die. Wow. And that book was a game changer. And then 2 years later, I did my first plant medicine journey that deepened it. And then 3.5 years ago, a childhood friend passed away. And that was another big catalyst for me. And it brought some people together back in my life from my growing up in New Jersey that just shifted a lot for me and brought me into my feminine. And so those things will happen in our lifetime and we're here to learn and glean something from that. And for me, it was profound. And I know now that he like being here when I walked into the hangar, the last time I was at hangar was at a service in Florida. And so I know that he is here and his wife, his wife, and his 2 kids live in Scottsdale.
Oh my gosh.
They moved from Florida. So it's all very goosebumpy.
Yeah, totally. So a few weeks ago, we were at an event. It was Leah Woodford's event.
Yeah.
And we met the last passenger of Soli. He
Wow.
wasn't the pilot. He was the one that let everybody off the plane. So they all survived in that incident. The next day, I'm in Huntington Beach for a business event, and there's a helicopter that's really low going above us while we're eating lunch outside. And that helicopter crashed down the street. Everybody survived. It did land on a little child. The kid is surviving. And so I was supposed to, like years ago, I had a psychic reading that in 18 months, I'd have a glow up. I was 72 pounds heavier 18 months ago, by the way, like over 18 months ago. And on that day that the helicopter crashed was the day of the 18 months glow up. And so it was, and everybody survived. So I feel like it was just like transformation, like just intense. And then like you telling that story is just so wild.
Well, I know that he is the reason why I'm on this journey and literally the reason why our collective was born. I believe that he and I had a soul contract and that his death was going to wake me up.
Holy, that gives me goosebumps. I mean, I know it's so important to like, we can build these big businesses, like these multi-million-dollar businesses have big deals, but there has to be something deeper that's grounding us in life, that we're fulfilling our purpose on such a higher level. And you're doing just that. And you're guiding these other women and people as well to do that. So I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I feel really inspired
girl.
by
18 month glow up, girl. I love that. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for joining us on Women Unlocking Wealth. I'm really appreciative of you coming out from LA, and hope to come back. Hope that you can come back for a part 2.
Anytime.